We're pleased to have with us today Attorney General Andy Beshear. Our Attorney General has been traveling the district discussing his new initiative, Scam Alerts. And that was announced on May 19th. The text messaging service notifies consumers when con artists are on the attack in Kentucky. So please help me welcome our Attorney General, Andy Beshear.
Well, thank you all for having me. I'm Andy Beshear, and I'm honored to serve as Kentucky's 50th Attorney General. And I tell you what, I absolutely love doing this job. It's the most purpose-filled job I could ever ask for, because every day when I go to work, by the time I go home, I feel like my kids and hopefully all of Kentucky's children are just a little bit safer. I wanted to do this job so I could better protect both my children and all of Kentucky's children. And we do that in the Attorney General's office each and every day through a four-part mission. First, preventing and prosecuting child abuse. Second, better protecting our seniors against scams and abuse. Third, seeking justice for victims of rape. And fourth, finding workable solutions to this drug epidemic. So just a few issues, really causes, that we work on and I think really make strides in every single day. I'm coming up in about 2 weeks on the first 180 days that I've had the honor to be your Attorney General. So if I can, before I mention this Scam Alerts, I want to run down a few of the things that I've been proud to have accomplished for you through this Attorney General's office. First, your AG's office is currently on track to more than triple the number of child sex offenders that we remove from the streets in any given year. In the past, the office has averaged about 15. As of today, since January 4th, we've removed 25 child sex offenders from Kentucky streets. That means something to our families. 3 weeks ago, we made a transfer of $4.5 million to the Kentucky State Police Crime Lab. That's what they told us they needed for new people, equipment, and training so that this Commonwealth would never, ever, ever have a rape kit backlog again. We not only made that transfer to make sure that never happens again, we had a survivor come in and not present any type of check, but actually press the button that made that transfer. It was profound. It was one of the best days that I've had on this job. We sued Volkswagen, who told America and certainly Kentucky consumers that they had built a new, clean diesel car, and that as it turned out, all they built was a computer that could cheat the regulators. We're moving quickly through that. We are providing $9 million of settlement funds that we won through court settlements to recovery centers all across Kentucky to make sure that our friends and family members and neighbors that have fallen into addiction have a bed, have a place, have an option to get out. And most of this money, folks, is Oxycontin settlement money. When you look at taking Oxycontin settlement money and putting it towards recovery, I think it truly meets. It's the 37th Psalm that says, depart from evil, do good, and you will abide in him, for the Lord loves justice. That's not only doing good, it's doing justice by using that money in that way. We're cracking down on rogue Suboxone clinics across the state. It is a drug that can be effective in certain types of treatment, but we're seeing facilities take on the pill mill model, and we have great concerns about it flooding certain areas of our state. We have counties like Floyd County in East Kentucky that doesn't have a heroin problem, but has a Suboxone problem. We've returned over $8 million to the state Medicaid program through our fraud unit. That's $8 million we found in fraud and recovered since January the 4th. We saved ratepayers millions of dollars in utility bills. When your utilities ask for a rate increase, it's the Attorney General's office that represents all of us that get and pay those bills. We've taken on cemeteries around the state who have taken people's money and not placed headstones, have not maintained the grounds. In one instance in Georgetown, we had a cemetery owner that took a Navy plaque, hadn't placed it, and wouldn't give it back to the family. We're trying to make sure that when we as family people in Kentucky put our loved ones to rest, that they are treated the way that we would all expect them to be treated. We launched, along with First Lady Glenna Bevan, the most comprehensive set of child abuse prevention trainings that this state has ever seen. I'm going over to Henderson after this to talk at our 5th of 17 trainings. This is just our 5th, and we've trained over 450 people to recognize the signs of these child sex predators and to step in. That's in your community, that's in every other community. We are working on building one of the best community safety nets for our kids that we have ever seen. We returned $17 million in this last budgeting cycle. It was a tough budget. I know you've talked about some of that today and what's going forward. Those dollars went to things like Rocket Docket, which helps drug users, not traffickers, drug users quickly get into treatment instead of spending time in jail. It's turned out to be an amazing program throughout the Commonwealth. We're investigating radioactive waste dumping in certain areas of our state, and we're going to need more regulation on that. We'll be talking about that in the next session. We took our senior abuse hotline and turned it 24 hours. We prosecute senior abuse all across this Commonwealth, and when I came in, I'll admit, it was a 9 to 5 hotline that they checked Friday at 5 and Monday at 9. And if it was your grandparents, or your friend, or your neighbor, and you picked up that phone, somebody should have answered, and now they do, every single minute of every single day. We're cracking down on human trafficking statewide. It's the largest growing criminal enterprise in the world. It's here. It is everywhere. We're holding public officials accountable in different areas of the state that don't treat the licensing money or other funds correctly. When you pay that fee, when you pay that tax dollar, it's sacred, and we're trying to make sure it's treated that way. We also recently settled the largest civil action against a scam charity in the history of this country. It was the Cancer Fund of America, which had taken over $3 million in Kentucky, hundreds of millions nationwide. Where'd the money go? A whole lot of it went to the owners. And then a bunch of it went to the fundraisers. And a little bitty piece went to charity, and none of that went to cancer charity. So when folks were willing to part with their hard-earned dollars towards a cause that needs it, we want to make sure that it goes there, and we're going to be able to take a lot of that money that we've recovered and move it to a legitimate charity. The main reason that we're in town today is the final thing I want to mention to you. It is what I believe is a transformational tool to help us crack down on scam artists and better protect the people in your communities. It's called Scam Alerts. It's this Commonwealth's first direct text or email scam warning that goes directly to individuals. So you don't have to catch the right newscast or read the right article in the paper for that day or that week. This sends warnings directly to your phone or your email once or twice a week. There are 2 ways to sign up. You can either text GOV 311, the phrase KYOAG/scam. That's text the number GOV 311, the phrase KYOAG/scam, or go to our website where you can sign up either email or text. That's ag.ky.gov/scam. You can also sign up your relatives, let them know you're signing them up before they get that text or email, please. But it's the first chance I believe that we have to do the #1 thing where we can protect our friends and family members and neighbors is give them that information beforehand. Consumer Reports on a front page story in November reported $3 billion stolen from our seniors in the United States last year in scams alone. The larger elder abuse, elder financial abuse, they estimate $38 billion. This is something real that affects people in your community, people that you care about every single day. This is a chance for us to get out in front of it, to make sure that people don't fall for it in the first place. Because most of these scams come from a different state or a different country, and it's rare that we try as hard as we can that we can get it back for you in the Attorney General's office. But I'll end with one of the other best days I've had in office is when we recovered 2 weeks ago, coming this Friday, $50,000 for an Elizabethtown woman who was scammed through the IRS scam. What happened is we were able to figure out which bank account it went to. We got the bank to put a freeze on it for 3 days. We went to court to get an injunction. And 2 Fridays ago, I personally drove a $50,000 check to this woman, and for her it meant the difference between having a life for the next 15 or 20 years or struggling to get by. Anybody want to guess where she asked me to meet her? Her bank. But those are just a few things that your Attorney General's office is doing. We greatly appreciate our relationship with all of the area development districts. As you can tell, our mission is so much of your mission. And the area development districts were one of our first partners when we launched Scam Alerts. They've done a great job of pushing out this information. I know that they will continue to do it, but know through this program, it will be as effective as the number of people that we sign up. So please make this cause your own. Make the protection of your community, whether it's about child abuse or senior abuse, your own. Because the only way that we are going to tackle these large problems, the only way that we are going to put some of them in our rearview mirror is together as one community. Thank you all very much.